Hello and welcome to United Report. This is your home for all the latest Manchester United news, match updates, transfer stories, and in-depth analysis. Stay connected and never miss a moment. Subscribe now to stay ahead with everything happening at Old Trafford. It seems like there's never an ordinary day at Manchester United, and Lisandro Martinez recently had a pop at Paul Scholes because the 50-year-old said something the Argentine did not like. Even when he's fit, he's not good enough to win the Premier League with, said Scholes about Martinez on a podcast appearance, while also questioning the signing of Matthijs de Ligt. Martinez responded, "This jinx guy is really hurting. You put him in Argentina, he wouldn't survive." Scholes would have laughed if someone showed him Martinez's response. He is an 11-time winner of the Premier League. He won the Champions League twice. He made more than 700 appearances for United, and he will be remembered as one of the finest midfielders the sport has ever seen. Martinez is a World Cup winner, something Scholes didn't come close to achieving during his career, but the defender is now part of a United side that is currently 13th in the Premier League table. Ruben Amorim described this United team as maybe the worst in the club's history, so it's probably not a good look for members of that squad to be hitting back at club legends. It's certainly not the end of the world that Martinez responded, and he's entitled to his opinion. Scholes won't care about his comment, but United's current crop can't really defend themselves when they're complicit in such a horrendous season. The worst United team Scholes was a part of was in 2001/2002, when United finished third in the Premier League table, 10 points behind champions Arsenal. The best team Martinez has been played in at United finished third in the league in 2022/2023, 14 points behind champions Manchester City. United were also affected by Sir Alex Ferguson announcing he was set to retire before the beginning of the 11-12 season. "I think a lot of them had put their tools away," said Ferguson years later. Scholes played a crucial role in United's most successful era and is better placed than most to give an opinion about whether a player is good enough to challenge for a Premier League title. Martinez might have been offended by the comment, but he needs thicker skin. United are the most scrutinised club in the world, and Martinez knew what he was signing up for when arriving from Ajax. The best way to respond to such comments is by performing on the pitch. Martinez has been ruled out for the remainder of the season with a knee injury, and his headspace might not be in an ideal place, which might also explain why he popped back at Scholes on social media. Some supporters have questioned whether the opinions of United's legends have become unhelpful, but the reality is, they only make harsh comments when United are underperforming. If United were fighting for the league title and competing in the Champions League, there would be no negative coverage and every club legend would be singing the current players' praises. It's simple good performances generate positive coverage. United's current crop are criticised by former players because they are part of a club that looks unrecognisable at times. Martinez was within his rights to respond to Scholes, but it was probably inadvisable to do so. Bruno Fernandes has played every minute for Manchester United so far in 2025, but what is interesting isn't the amount of time the club captain is spending on the pitch, but where he is spending it. Fernandes has always been undroppable at United, not simply because he has the armband on, but because of his influence on the team as the most potent attacking weapon. But that is something Ruben Amorim has begun to sacrifice. Fernandes has started and completed 9 games in a row this year, but in all bar one of them he has at least had a spell in a deeper midfield role. In the last 3 games against FCSB, Crystal Palace and Leicester City, he has been a permanent fixture there as he develops a partnership with Manuel Ugarte. That move partly came about after Kobbie Mainoo was moved further forward in Bucharest. Not only did the academy graduate impress as a number 10, but Amorim has made it clear he has no intention to return the 20-year-old to a deeper role, admitting he was struggling with the defensive side of the game in midfield. That has created a vacancy next to Ugarte, and Fernandes is the man to fill it. Casemiro and Christian Eriksen are both only bit-part players now under the Portuguese head coach, and it seems that both lack the physical attributes to play that role. And with Mainoo's defensive work under the spotlight, it only really leaves Fernandes and rookie midfielder Toby Collier. The partnership between Ugarte and Fernandes has shown early promise. The Uruguayan brings plenty of steel to the midfield and is excellent at winning the ball back and putting opponents under pressure. Fernandes brings a bit more composure and quality in possession, and with United's build-up play under Amorim still being a work in progress, That ability on the ball can be key in deeper areas. Passing stats aren't yet available for the Leicester City game on FBrEF, but the fixtures against Palace and FCSB ranked 1st and 5th for Fernandes this season in terms of passes he has attempted and 2nd and 3rd for successful passes. It shows the influence he now has in that role and the contribution he could make to United's structure from that position. Moving Fernandes to that deeper role has been partly out of necessity, with options for that position next to Ugarte dwindling, but in that area of the pitch, it looks like a realistic option for the future for Amorim. His current problem is that every decision like that can have a knock-on effect, and taking Fernandes away from a number 10 impacts United's creativity. That is a major issue at the moment. Amad, Mainu, and Alejandro Garnacho have filled those roles behind the striker lately, but they don't yet offer the same reliability and consistency as Fernandes as an attacking weapon. The 30-year-old's record of 88 goals and 78 assists in 269 games for the club is outstanding, but most of those contributions come from attacking midfield. In time, United might be able to replace them, and Fernandes will still contribute from deeper, both in open play and from set pieces. Amad has the potential to be a major source of goals and assists, and Garnacho has been this season, although he has yet to make one of those inside roles his own under Amorim. Mainu showed in that Europa League game in Bucharest that he has real strengths to bring to an attacking role, notably his ability to work in tight areas and manipulate the ball. He got on the score sheet in that game and had at least one other good chance, but his momentum stalled when he pushed up to the striking role against Palace. Right now, Mainu, Amad and Garnacho are works in progress. They have the ability to really make that role their own, but they don't yet offer the consistent level of goal threat that Fernandes did. That is the risk with moving the Portuguese playmaker back to a deeper role at this stage of the team's development. Paul Pogba can return to football next month, with speculation about his playing future ongoing. But while many United fans in the Manchester Evening News comments section are wary of a third stint at the club, some are keen for the club to at least take a look at Pogba. Pogba's drugs ban for testing positive for the banned substance DHEA expires next month after a successful appeal dropped the punishment from 4 years to 18 months. Juventus have released the player, meaning that he is a free agent and not subject to the usual restrictions around transfers and can sign for anyone at any point in the season. High-profile figures are keen to plug Pogba's credentials, with Rio Ferdinand saying that he would invite the player back to the club to train and assess where he could fit into Ruben Amorim's squad. NBA sensation Jimmy Butler name-dropped Paul Pogba as he sealed a blockbuster move to the Golden State Warriors and signed a £90 million contract taking the number 10 shirt, as Pogba did at Juventus. Despite glowing opinions from top figures, many fans are less keen. Reader Giggsy says, "No, we don't need to go backwards. Pogba is 32, and United's policy is trying to move on Casemiro and Eriksen and players who are at the tail end of their careers and replace them with young talent." Cromwellswort writes, "Pogba would be ideal for one of the 10 positions. He'd be able to dictate play, hold up the ball, and stretch teams on the break. In the real world, he is poison with an appalling work ethic and has had 2 bites of the Old Trafford cherry. No thanks." Mooboy would require an unusual arrangement. How much will Brand Pogba be paying United to be provided with such a high-profile route back into playing football? It will have to be an Antony-sized fee to even think about it. Animal says, "There are no words as to describe the complete and utter crassness of the idea that either United would want Pogba back or that Pogba would want to come back. If I recall, the only reason Pogba stayed at United was because the Glazers wouldn't let him go. He was never able to match the intensity of the EPL and only deigned to actually perform when he was getting his own or his agent's way. The only thing he really did for United was sell lots of shirts. I doubt even the barge poles strewn along the ship canal would even touch him. My guess is, at his age, he'll go to the MLS and say be part of Beckham's title-winning circus in Miami. After all, he's got to fancy playing with Messi, Busquets, and co. It's just the sort of thing that would inflate his ego to full size. A minority of fans would see how Pogba's fared after not playing for a long time. Exalt writes, should he agree to rejoin Manchester United, then the club should accept him. We have missed his play in the midfield. Since he is a free agent, now is a good time. He himself should add a little discipline to the game at Manchester United. Just like he does for France, we do need him. Jolas says, when it comes to Paul Pogba, I believe United should take Rio Ferdinand's advice and invite him to train with them before deciding one way or the other. And it should be done as soon as possible, as time could be running out. Taking a look at him before deciding is indeed a good advice.